having suffered the same fate 4 years ago. How's he feeling himself? Is he?
Yeah, he's positive. Yeah, he is. I think it's not a nice place to be. Obviously, that sort of wondering the extent of the injury and that hanging over. But Robbie's positive, and we've already seen him this morning, and he's in good form. So, we're just hoping that he gets through the next 24 hours and he can stay with us.
Simon, there's been loads of chat, I'm not sure if you're aware about the line out, obviously you're knocking down. What have you made of the line out in the warm games?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the debate from you guys about the selection, and that will always come no matter what we would have chosen. Potentially, you would have had an opportunity to debate and give your opinion on that. The Lineout has we've changed a couple of things. We've tried to create a few new pictures for the opposition, and tried to emphasise a few different things during that first block of games. And I think in some ways the Lineout performance against England might have been a slight reflection of that, but I think we also had some real quality ball in that game as well. And even though we lost too many, we actually we had some real quality tempo to our Lineout at times. So yeah, every time you take the pitch, it's a bit of chess, trying to work out what the opposition are going to do. Back yourselves in terms of your process and your drills that you've worked on throughout the period that we've been together. And I think the performance most recently against Wales for me was really good. We lost the first couple, but then we adapted really well. And I thought James Ryan called really well, and also Ian Henderson came on and was able to influence and put a bit of experience in there as well in terms of that calling and that leadership in the line-out. It's really important. There's so many moving parts to that the hookers have the confidence, the callers have the confidence, and then there's all the lifting and the moving parts to the line-out, which I think we've worked and developed on over the summer. But I think we saw a far more fluid performance in that second half against Wales.
Simon, how long does it take? Remember Bob Casey and Neil Cullen talking about it before, become an international calibre expert line-out caller? Obviously, how important it is to you guys now. How long does it take to get there? We know James Ryan is on the way, and Ian Henderson did it for years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess every individual is different, aren't they? So every person sees the game slightly differently. Every person in those situations sees a different picture. We've got to try and make it as demanding as possible during training to be able to evolve those skills. And it's not about James Ryan suddenly or Hendy. Their ability to call for me is based on the quality of their work they do prior to the match, in training, in their preparation, looking at opposition, the sort of detail around what you need to be a top line-out caller. And I think they both have that. They both have an understanding of the need to do their homework and impart their sort of influence on the line-out, but also there's plenty of experience around that team as well that can offer help. Tyburn calls for Munster. Peter Marnie, is a world-class line-up forward. So we've got plenty of quality and experience within that group that I feel is adding value to the line-up.
The Toje improved thing, it'd be so easy, and it happened with people just you got kind of slaughtered for another. When you took what the Toje improved into your lineup, was it kind of meat and drink for you? Could you flip that into a positive because there were so many things that they did that?
I think a lot of that is you got to work out what's in your control and what is outside of your control, and plenty of what we did was within our control. So unfortunately they were able to get the better of us that day. There's been other days where we've had the wood over them. It is you can look at it in real fine detail and look at every part of the game like that, but essentially we've got to back ourselves, and a lot of the things that we didn't do particularly well were in our control. As much as they they got bodies in the air and were effective in terms of trying to cut our ball out. At times when we had a bit of speed and tempo, they didn't get anywhere near us. So it's a combination of things, and it's more so than any other part of the game. There's so many moving parts to that area of the game that if one of those guys drops out, whether it be a lifter, whether it be a slight movement change, whether it be the throw, the jump, and then you've got to factor in what the defence are doing, and then you hopefully come out the other side with more positives than negatives. In that game, we probably were able to, in hindsight, we could have altered a little bit on the run. Unfortunately, even when we made some changes, those things weren't rectified. So it wasn't just one thing, and it wasn't necessarily what England were doing. It's partly our ability to adapt on the hoof.
So in terms of the line of calling, are you happy for it to be a shared responsibility, or do you want to see a James Ryan and Ian Henderson kind of step into that role and be in?
But I think they do. It is, we talk amongst a number of us, the line-out leaders, that will discuss the menu for each week and how that, how we'll implement that in terms of the game plan. And it's a collaborative chat about how we put that together, and then somebody's got to go and lead that. As in every part of the game, there's someone leading certain areas of the game, and line-out's no different. So yeah, it is a collaborative sort of mix of ideas, guys who have looked at the footage and have spent time sort of immersing themselves in that part of the game, and having the confidence then to speak to me and the other guys in the group with their opinions, and then we put together a plan according to what the line-out menu needs.
So last couple of days.
In terms of Joey Carbery, obviously, Joe said that he's, will be hopefully fit to train fully Monday. Given his injury and things, how is that an impressive sort of turnaround for him? Does that show like how hard he's worked to
Yeah,
get himself back ready?
yeah, for sure. It was hugely disappointing for him when he went down against Italy, but I think he and the medical and S&C staff done an incredible job to get him to this point. And if there wasn't the confidence within him and what the guys could do with him over the period from when he got injured, he wouldn't have travelled. And I think that was largely due to the confidence that he brought, but also the confidence that the medics and the S&C staff brought to the whole thing. And there was plenty of discussion over it, because it was such an important decision to take someone that was coming with an injury. But I think he and the guys around him have worked incredibly hard to get to this stage.
No, in terms of layman's terms, almost, how does the dynamic change not having someone like Devin?
Yeah, well, it's obviously hugely disappointing for Dev, and more as a mate than anything else. You're just, you feel bad for a guy not being selected. But like Simon said, I think the effort going on amongst the lads, like the line-out has been since the England game. I think the improvement and the enthusiasm we've shown towards the line-out's been brilliant. And the main thing for me as a thrower, and I think the bottom line is I have absolutely full confidence in all our line-out callers. So from that point of view, we have full confidence in, like you said, the three lads, James, Hendy and Hoig, and even if one of them were to get Sinman or anything, I'd have full confidence in Pete calling a line out as well, and I think that's the main thing for the throwers. So yeah, obviously disappointing for Dev, but the talent we have there and the intuition we have around the line out, I think is top quality.
Okay, let's take the last one there.
Simon, have you seen the match between South Africa and Japan last week? And can I have the overall impression of Japan's team from the point of view as a forward court, like line down, scrum, and also scrum coaches? Great feedback there.
Yeah.
What a breakdown. Yeah,
they obviously rely heavily on a bit of speed and having the tempo to things like their line out in particular, because obviously coming up against a team like South Africa on the weekend with guys who are potentially have more height in the line out. So I think their speed and the ability, we played them 2 years ago when I was involved, and Scams was here as well, and I think what they do very well is they're drilled really well. You know, they're obviously well coached, but they move well on the ground and they get into the air quickly. And I think that's obviously an important factor of a line-out that maybe doesn't have the same height as other teams. That they're able to still win quality ball because of their movement, their strategy, and their speed that they get into the air.